Have mercy. Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. On today's video, we're going to install an exhaust fan in our off-grid bathroom up here at our cabin using a car radiator fan, and we're going to try to do it all under $30. So come along. This video may include bathroom humor, so you've been warned. So if you're familiar with the channel, you know what's going on here. If you're new to the channel, this is our off-grid location up in the highlands of West Virginia. And this is our bathhouse, Johnny house, whatever you want to call it. It is a bathroom that's a vermicomposting toilet system and our off-grid shower using rainwater and a Camp Lux water heater. We have a small solar panel that's collecting, I think it's a 25 watt panel. It's collecting power that charges a battery that we can then use to run the pump for the shower. And we can also run a light in here in the bathroom area. Well, since we have plenty of battery to spare, I thought it'd be nice to install an exhaust fan in here, because when we have multiple people, multiple families, one bathroom, you kind of want to have the opportunity to let this air out. Now, it is open up here in the soffit, so there is some airflow, but we want to encourage more airflow faster. But since we're dealing with a 12-volt system, I thought it would be fun to try a car radiator fan and install that and see what we can do to get some airflow going. So first thing we'll do is find the location I want to put it. So I'm going to have you guys come up here. I think with the camera, even though it's a tight space, I think with a wide angle we'll be able to catch everything here. All right, so you can see here, this is our charge controller, just a real simple charge controller. I think that thing's $10 or $15 on Amazon. So solar panel energy's coming in there. Battery bank, so it's charging the battery bank, and then of course we just have a fuse panel here where we distribute our 12 volt. I've done a video on this detailing this install, and then of course behind me is the light that's running, and then the pump. You can see the wires going down right there on that post. The pump is underneath the deck, protected from the weather, and that runs the pump for the shower. And you're probably wondering this though. Squirrel got in here this winter and decided he was going to chew the side out of the tote and make that a place to hang out. That's why we've added, I don't know if you can see, there's now hardware cloth all along the soffit here and all along the eaves. So there's no way for the little sucker to get in anymore. But with this fan, I'm going to install it, and I think I'm going to install it low, maybe even down here. The idea would be it's going to pull air in from the top and exhaust it out the bottom. Speaking about the bottom, the heavier air that I believe is going to be something we want to get rid of will be laying low, I believe, so a lower exhaust fan will draw that out and get really good circulation going here. That's the plan, at least. So with any exhaust fan, of course, we want it to be switchable. We want to be able to turn it on and turn it off. Thought about different scenarios, but the biggest concern, of course, is if somebody, you do your business, you make your deposit at the bank, if you know what I mean, and you're going to leave the fan on as you exit. Being an off-grid system, we don't want that fan running a very long time. People may just neglect to turn it off after a while. So what I've done, I wanted to find an old school switch, and it took me a while to find one on Amazon. I finally did. But this is actually it's funny, this is a BN link, and I've actually tested some of their products before. Not sponsored, of course, on this. But I found an old school spring switch. And this is made for 110 AC, but it'll still work for DC because it's not required. It's not, the switch is not powered. It is just like an old egg timer, basically. So you hear it ticking there. So the game plan is, you come in, you want to turn the fan on, you just turn the switch, turn your dial. So if you think, okay, only 10 minutes is what I need to leave the fan running on after I'm done, then you set it for that. It goes all the way up to 60. So if you've, like on Taco Tuesdays, if we're up here then maybe we use the 60-minute setting. But that'll keep it from running all night long or running for days type of thing. The switch will allow that to run for a certain amount of time, and of course shut off. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get our fan mounted and cut a hole in the building. That's always the hard part, is cutting a hole in the building. It's like, But I'm going to cut a hole in it, and as you see here with the fan, Of course, being a radiator fan, it's protected on the backside, so no fingers or anything like that. And nothing's really going to fall into that. On the front side, of course, there's no protection. So that's the side that's going to be facing the outside of the building. So when I cut a big hole in it, then there'll be a hole that somebody or a bird or anything can stick themselves into. It'd be a problem. But I'm going to cut some hardware cloth. We're going to mount that, and that'll be protective on the outside so as to keep fingers and other things, critters, from getting in there. And in case you're wondering, this fan is a push-pull. So depending on how you wire it, it'll either spin one way or the other. So it'll pull air or it'll push air. So I could do that option as well. I could put it low and then push air in, and it would be drawing air from outside and pushing it out the top, or vice versa. I really don't care. I think if I was pulling air in, though, and you're sitting here doing your business and you've got this wind tunnel going on of air coming up, then, I don't know, it kind of be like Marilyn Monroe sending over the old exhaust vent. So probably want to push it out, let the air come down. All right, let's see if I can do this without putting my big head in the way of the camera so you guys can see. So the idea is to roughly cut a circle the shape of the fan blade itself. That way you can use the mounting points. This is a universal radiator fan, so it has different mounting points, even has these little tabs that you can add to it. So that'll make it nice. I believe our radius is, yeah, just about 5 inches. So I think I want to put him about right here. So that would be the center. Okay. Hole. Ah, I can feel the air already. Help me, I can't breathe. All right, so I'm going to attach the hardware cloth on the outside and just trim it out with some extra poplar I have, actually some leftover from our shiplap. Can you guys see Kelly on the front porch through the Johnny house hole? Spotted her. So I think we need to do, I feel more comfortable with a 13 by 13. Yeah. So let's see if I can cut that out of the hardware cloth, and then we'll cut our shapes. All right, so if I did this right, I should be able to use my trim pieces that I just attached on the outside as better anchors to screw into. So this fan comes with these, and it's a universal fan. You can see all these little tabs here that these things can slide on that make ways for it to be secured. So I think should be able to do that, put them on this end, and I should be able to screw into that trim piece that I put on there. Nice. All right, so for our switch, I think we want to mount that about right here. So just got a construction. And we want to drill a hole here for our wire to go through. All right, so I've got some of this 12 gauge double strand, black and red, so it makes it easy to figure out what's what. So we're going to bring this up. And what I can do, of course, since this is going straight to power, I can run it all the way through, pull a loop out like this. Get 700. Go through the hole we just drilled. And then come under so we can go in our distribution block. So 12 volts, I can't remember. Best practice is to switch the ground or switch the hot. I think switch the ground is the best, but we'll see. We want to test to make sure we got our blade direction going first, going the right way first. So let's get that taken care of. So fuse panel and ground block. We've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 6. So it's 12 block, 12 volt system. And so we've got plenty of room for expansion here. So I'm going to get this hooked up. We'll leave the fuse out until we're ready to test. Separating the insulation. I'm going to break ground. I always keep a jar of nuts with me everywhere I go. You never know when you need another wire nut. All right, so let's drop a fuse in there. Okay. So I can take my tester here. If you can hear, I've got the timer running. Let's just make sure we're doing what we're supposed to. Yep. I got the power! All right, so let's say we got black and blue. So let's take black to black and red to blue. She started to turn, didn't she? Reggie. I think we just blew the fan. Just gave up the ghost. So that's obviously blowing in. I believe there's something rubbing there. That sounds a little noisy. All right, let's try other direction. All right, so I ran into a slight problem here. My little charge controller, when you run the load through it, it's not rated, I guess it's not rated to handle the amperage that this fan is pulling. I got to double check my specs on this to see what that is, and I also need to double check the specs on the fan to see what it's drawing. So it was actually tripping a little breaker basically in the charge controller. That was the issue we're having. So I've just direct wired it to the battery. Obviously it doesn't allow me to use my fuse panel, so I need to, well, there's several things I could do. I could direct wire my fuse panel to the battery and then have the charge controller sending the load or sending the recharge to the battery as well, and just not be monitoring load, or I can leave this hooked up. Thing's really pulling, but it should be working now. That's pulling air, that's pushing air out. I got to figure out what Sounds like an air raid siren right now. I think it's rubbing against something somewhere. All right, so there was a little splinter of wood stuck into the edge of the fan there, and it was like it's like the old playing card on the bicycle spoke. So let's try it now. Oh yeah, much better. All right, I can definitely feel the wind being pulled down from the ceiling there. Feel that circulation. Bit of a noisy fan, obviously, but that will help cover up the sound of cannon fire, if you know what I'm saying. So, I think that might work. Okay, so we took a dinner break and I did a little research. So this is rated for 10 amp draw. That's only 6.6 amps, but I have a feeling it's one of those startup type situations. The startup probably pulls a little bit more than 10 amps. That's why I was able to get it to run one time. That probably that's right on that threshold. So what I need to do is just upgrade this. This was, I think these things are like 11 bucks. So not a huge deal to set this one aside. Maybe just go up. I can get a Renogy 20 amp, I believe, for 20 bucks. So that would make sense to just upgrade to that. But I think that's going to work. I'm just going to leave, I'm going to do wire nuts, just leave that as it is. May take some wire staples and just staple that in there. But you know, it is a Johnny house, so it's not a big deal. Kelly gave it her seal of approval. She said the only problem is that anybody around is definitely going to know what she's doing if she goes in here. And I said, well, that's why you turn the fan on after you leave. So that'll be pretty good. But I think that's going to work. There she shut off, and I'm all the way back to the cabin now. That's the way it should be. Well, all right, that takes care of that project. Now, if you're keeping score, the goal was to be under $30, and the fan, I'll put the prices below here so you can see them because I'm going by memory. The fan, I believe, was right around 15 bucks. The switch, I believe, was $6 or $7. I'm not sure. It was under $10, I believe. And of course, all the other components, the wire and everything I had, but even if I was buying wire, some of those other accoutrements, then I believe we'd still be under $30. Now, granted, if I'm going to update that solar charge controller, then that's going to get me over my $30 budget. But I think that's going to work out great. The amount of airflow that radiator fan is going to pull is going to be substantial. So that's going to get the trick done no matter what challenges this Johnny house may face with friends and family coming up. Well, I appreciate everybody watching. I pray you all have a great week. Take care.